Hi everyone. So this this video I try to bring up some ideas, and it might sound strange, but so if we look at the current hospitals in the world, and everyone, people being born there or people passing away there, then when someone is born in a hospital, the people around him or her, like, okay, so they see the new person come into the world, but do they try to ask where this person came from, and why is it the case in most cases that this is not like just not what people not like casually or normally talks about or wants to know. So imagine a hospital, like so the current hospitals, when people are born, like, the doctors won't figure out where the soul of the person came from. Like, for example, maybe, yeah, so imagine like a hospital perhaps in the future. I'm just giving out maybe just an imaginative, and like like it might just be a wishful idea, but imagine a hospital perhaps in the future when people are born, the doctors around them, the doc, they will also look into where the soul of the person came from. Perhaps they will even say, well, if the six realms of the reincarnation cycle, which many Buddhist traditions teach, if that's an accurate, if that's a real, if that's real, then the doctors might. So imagine a doctor that tries to figure out where the newly born person came from, because maybe in his past life he was he was a demigod, or maybe he was a ghost, or he was another person, at he was an extraterrestrial, maybe he's from Zeta Reticuli. That would be an interesting interesting hospital, right? But I mean that's not our culture right now, and it's just an idea. Like, could it ever become our culture? Like when things like reincarnation is very it becomes very non-controversial, and even when things like remembering our past lives and becomes very like something normal in everyday life, and everyone is equipped with knowledge, complete remembrance of where they came from, how many lifetimes they have. But of course, we might need to have a more detailed description of reincarnation and how it works, and some explanations maybe in from Bashar or from other places. There are some explanations say that all of our lifetimes are happening simultaneously, but what does that mean exactly? Like, if my past life, if I was an elephant, is that elephant also living right now, where is it? And yeah, could the elephant be in a zoo? And but the elephant is my past life, and now I became human. So could it be that if I go to the zoo and visit an elephant, I'm actually seeing my past life? So that's just these kinds of speculations, or I mean, because we are in a state where we don't remember. Most people don't remember any of their past lives, like not just the previous one, but I mean, we, of course we need a more detailed description of reincarnation, like is it one lifetime after another, or because it is like if we say reincarnation, so each person we have a we have a lifetime. Right now we are a human living on earth, and Bashar says all of our lifetimes are happening simultaneously. But usually when we think about reincarnation, maybe the usual way to think about it is that it happens linearly. So the past one is somehow already over, and the next one is just going to happen after this one. So it's like all of our lifetimes can be, there's a linear, like an ordering, like a linear, how to say, it's like so we have the current life. So if we imagine, so for instance, if we imagine like the set of all integers, like it's usually depicted on the real number line, and each point, like all the integer points on the real number line. And suppose this lifetime is denoted by 0, and the next lifetime is denoted by 1, the next one by 2, then 3, 4. So we have more, we always have successive future lifetimes, and it goes on forever in the positive direction. And suppose, so -1 denotes the previous lifetime, and -2 denotes the one before -1, and it goes in the negative direction indefinitely as well. So I mean, for each person, like this lifetime is 0, and does reincarnation work in a way where all of our lifetimes, so let's say the set of all lifetimes associated to a particular person, like a particular person living on earth, or anyone, maybe an elephant, or any or maybe a ghost or some entity, like we have a like a it's just a very very preliminary basic idea. I don't know how serious, how if this kind of idea can be developed further into something meaningful, or it's just a kind of not so useful metaphor, or but so we have the lifetime we want to look at, and we denote it by, so in the example I said it's 0, and the next lifetime is 1, and then 2 and 3, and then we have past lives like -1, -2, -3, and so on. So in this kind of description, we can say that the set of all lives that's associated to the particular person we're looking at, right? The current lifetime is denoted by 0. So in this case, the set of all lifetimes is has cardinality aleph no, right? Because the set of all integers has cardinality equal to the set of all positive integers, like it's just aleph no, like it's a countably infinite set. So this is a question, right? So when we talk about reincarnation, So like I mean, we have a person in one of the lifetimes with, and then we consider the set of all lifetimes that somehow are future lifetimes of the person or past lifetimes of the person, and then it's like we have a set of all the lifetimes that's somehow related to this person, right? And so the question is like maybe the integer model might not be accurate, like we don't know. We usually think about reincarnation as the linear, in a linear fashion, so the integer model might, but even with the integer model, right, even with the integer model, we don't know if it's like perhaps the person has a first ever lifetime, right? If reincarnation, if we have a first lifetime where we first existed or we were first created, and then we continue to reincarnate, right? So maybe the first life, so suppose someone has lived only three, this the third lifetime currently, so zero denotes the third lifetime, then his first lifetime should be -2, right? -2 is the first lifetime, -1 is the second lifetime, and then 0, the current lifetime, is his third lifetime, and then he will continue on to have more lifetimes, like when we usually think about reincarnation. So even the integer, if we like the the set of all lifetimes relate, like the set of all lifetimes associated to a particular person might not be in this like a one-to-one correspondence with the integers, because in that case it sort of means that we always have a previous lifetime. So it's like we have previous lifetimes indefinitely, so there was never a point where we started existing, like we have always existed, and we have infinitely many past lives, right, and infinitely many future lives. Um, so it's just like I don't know if this idea is useful, but yeah. So I mean, maybe we need a mathematical model of reincarnation to be able to start thinking about such problems. But it looks like if we just look into the Buddhist teachings or some other reincarnation teachings, I don't know if they ask this question, right? So like I never heard a Buddhist monk talk about yeah. So it's like man, if reincarnation theory can be made more mathematical, then could there be a theorem that says the set of all lifetimes of a person is countably infinite? Like, for I'm just making things up, but um, could there be a like yeah, because if we talk to most Buddhist monks or people that are practicing spirituality, or even people who maybe they access the Akashic records to, or maybe they give past life readings, or QHHD practitioners, or like the people who seems to know about reincarnation, they like I have not heard about any like an attempt to try to describe reincarnation precisely mathematically. For instance, like being able to ask questions such as is the set of all lifetimes associated to a person countably infinite, right? So yeah, maybe I'm talking off on a tangent, but I started from talking about like an ideal hospital or an interesting hospital where whenever someone is born, the doctor also looks into his past life, like at least the one just before this one, right? And maybe sometimes the doctor would say this is his first ever lifetime, and that, I mean, the current hospitals do not do, do like they don't have this habit of checking this kind of information. So just a, I don't know if it's useful, but just an idea. But so similarly, like in the current hospitals, when people pass away, the doctors or the people around them do not check where he or she is going. Like, where is she becoming an elephant next time, or is she becoming a shark? Like, and I don't know if anyone like, yeah. For example, yeah, my grandfather passed away. I think in around 2014 or 15. And then, yeah, uh, my father took care of him, but my father took care of my father's father, like for many years before my grandfather, before my father's father passed away. And so, the question is, okay, so he passed away in the hospital, and where did he go, right? That's a big question. And no, the hospital didn't help us find out the answer. And even I asked my father a few times, like, uh, why don't you try to find out? And looks like my father never took this question seriously, right? And I don't know if there if there's any way to find out the so-called mediums. Like, I heard about something called mediumship, and they claim, I don't personally know anyone, but if they are able to contact people who passed away and know how they're doing, and what happened to them. Of course, there's a question of, is that information accurate, and could they be fed wrong information from, could they somehow be fed wrong information, and so, but at least I heard that there's this thing called mediums, and if it's not just all made up, right? If it's actually a genuine technique and people can use, and in some cases obtain accurate information of the afterlife or of specific or about of specific information about specific people who passed away, then I mean, what I mean, why not try this, right? I mean, what's what is stopping, like, mm, what is stopping most people from, like, trying to find out where people they know passed away went to, right? If there are these mediums, and we can consult them, and yeah, so maybe perhaps the ideal hospital, I'm just, yeah, similarly with being getting people being born, with people passing away, like, perhaps an interesting hospital would be one where every time someone passed away, the doctor will also look into where the person went to. Like, if the six realms of reincarnation, as described by most Buddhist traditions, is correct, then which of the six realms did he went to, and yeah, maybe in the future, I'm just making this up, right? Maybe in the future, like mediums would be, there would be employed, or would be part of the teams in the hospitals, and just maybe just a wishful thinking, wishful idea. Yeah, so yeah, perhaps in the hospitals a few thousand years from now, something like that will become standard. I'm just making this up, like maybe that will be something interesting for a hospital in the future. Or maybe this kind of information was, or perhaps something like this was part of our culture, the human culture in ancient times. Perhaps there was a time in the past when we are not this materialistic and physicalist, and we were closer to the non-physical realm, and the things like where did the soul came from, where did the soul went to, were things people naturally think about, talk about, discuss, want to know, and perhaps have methods to know, unlike the current culture, right? So yeah, yeah, uh, so finally I want to talk about, yeah. So we talked about this reincarnation, and yeah, so it looks like very strange. Why most people don't remember their past lives, or any of their past lives, and from people who teach about the so-called soul trap theory, like they often talk about something called, they call it the memory wipe, right? So every time someone reincarnates, they get memory wiped, and regarding the memory wipe, I think there is a value to look more into the memory wipe mechanism, because at least I heard from Courtney Brown. He 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 said he did remote viewing observations into the something called the death traps, and so it's like he claims that there are these traps. It's like maybe like a web or something around Earth, or where like every time a soul leaves the body who passed away, they they get attracted to this kind of mechanism around Earth, and there's a place where like that they are given a very strong like electric shock, or there's something to clear, to wipe all their memories of their previous life. So if this kind of mechanism exists around Earth, right, the memory wipe, how, I mean, there's already many people talking about the memory wipe. Like as I said, just Courtney Brown said he used remote viewing and observed the memory wipe mechanism and this soul trap mechanism around Earth. So that sounds very technological, right? The reincarnation, like from that perspective, it's just an like a trapping system set up by some bad aliens, and our souls are trapped in here, and whenever we pass away, we just get processed by the machine, this soul recycling system, which includes as one step in the process the clearing of all of the memories in the soul's previous lifetime, and then sends the soul back to Earth to reincarnate. So I mean, earlier I was talking about perhaps we can have a mathematical theory or description of reincarnation. But I mean, whether reincarnation is natural or not is another question. But from the Courtney Brown perspective, and I think he often quotes from the book Alien Interview. He also calls our souls ISBs, right? So, from that perspective, the reincarnation system is just this recycling system created by a group of bad aliens, bad ETs, and so if it's just some kind of machine, a very very highly advanced machine recycling souls, then it makes sense. Like then that the reincarnation should be able to be like should be amenable to like a mathematical description, because it's a technology, right? The just like our computers, some is like is technological, and a lot of math was involved in creating the computers or cell phones or cars or airplanes or helicopters or trains, boats. The technologies are in the human world. Most of those things are created with some kind of math supporting, some kind of math behind the principles of why it works. If the whole reincarnation process, the whole reincarnation system is created by the bad aliens, and it's a kind of very very advanced. I think David Icke also talks about the reincarnation system as a very advanced kind of AI, like he's like a kind of very advanced technology, like run by the archons. Like he says, he talks about, he used the term archons, and Courtney Brown say bad aliens. But I'm not really sure whether the bad aliens and the archons are the same entities, or there can be some more like a discussion, like an investigation into the exact nature of those beings, like archons and bad aliens. Are they just the same entities? But both David Icke and Courtney Brown seems to concur on saying that reincarnation is like a highly advanced technology. So in that case, the bad aliens created the technology. So perhaps they needed some very advanced math behind, and if that is the case, and when reincarnation is not something natural, which I think if we just look at the regular Buddhist teachings, we think reincarnation is natural, right? The soul finishes this lifetime, and somehow there's a force, a natural force, something that guides it to the next lifetime, and is a natural process. I think if we just look at the regular Buddhist teachings, the reincarnation is described like a natural process. But then from the perspective of David Icke and Courtney Brown, it is more like advanced alien technology, and we don't see the technology, maybe because it's in what's called the astral plane, or maybe it's outside of the visible light spectrum, and it's just very, very like hidden from us, this reincarnation machinery. So yeah, so I mean, the question of our lifetimes and things like that, if we just, I mean, the designer of the reincarnation machine, the reincarnation mechanism, would probably just know the answer to the question. I sort of came up earlier. I don't know if it's meaningful question, but the question earlier, I said that the set of all lifetimes associated to a person, is it like, for instance, is it, we can ask about the size of the set, right? Is it finite? Is it infinite? Is it countably infinite? Is it uncountably infinite? Like this kind of question should just follow from the design of this reincarnation machine, right? But I mean, if you just look at the regular, like most interviews of David Icke or Courtney Brown, I mean, they talk about this kind of things, but maybe they know more that they're not talking about in most videos. I'm not sure, but yeah. So it's just about this reincarnation thing, and yeah. So I think Courtney Brown also in one of his videos, he said yeah, he said we are like zombies on this planet because we don't remember where we came from, we don't remember where, we don't know where we are going. So we are somehow made to we are we, our habit is just to focus on just this lifetime, like, and especially with the people who does not believe in reincarnation, like knowing the other lifetimes doesn't make sense, right? For the people who don't believe in reincarnation, like they won't think they are missing anything, like just by focusing on this lifetime. But even for the people who believes in reincarnation, do we just believe in it and does not bother to paint our whole reincarnational history, or and we just focus on this lifetime, or should we also try to remember more and more of all of our reincarnation of our incarnations, to have the fuller picture of our existence, right? A fuller picture of our existence. And so I think Courtney Brown said in remark in one of his videos that there are other worlds, like planets or somewhere, maybe I don't know if it's Zeta Reticuli or somewhere, but there are, like he said, he talked about other worlds where whenever someone passed away, they don't get a memory wiped. So perhaps the memory wiping mechanism that the people of the Soul Trap theory camp claims that happens to between each of our incarnations, like perhaps there are, so from in that comment Courtney Brown said this other world, there are other planets, or perhaps most of the universe, that they still have some reincarnation, but they don't have memory wipe. So when someone passed away and they come back, they they remember their past life, and they can continue to own, perhaps they owned houses or cars or things after they come to the, after they reincarnate, they still come back to get their belongings from their past life, right? So in this world, when we reincarnate, when someone passed away, their belongings get taken away and become belongings of other people on the planet, and the people, well, even if the person reincarnates back to Earth, to the same planet, they don't remember their past life, and they can't just go back to get what their belongings from the previous lifetime. And so Courtney Brown had this interesting claim that I think he said most of the universe outside of Earth, and like most of the universe outside of Earth, they have reincarnation, but they don't get memory wiped. So they come back to get whatever things they left in the previous lifetime. And yeah, and so that's an interesting, that's an interesting comment. But so it comes to another question, like why do we get memory wiped here? And I think most people from the soul trap theory camp would say the memory wipe is there uh, to maybe diminish the chances of us realizing that we are in this reincarnation mechanism, right? So yeah, perhaps the reincarnation mechanism elsewhere in the universe is maybe a bit different from here. Somehow here we have the memory wipe, and Courtney Brown said elsewhere in most places there's no memory wipe, and so and I know that many people say. So I've asked a few people about like remembering our past lives. Why don't we have access to our past life memories? And some people have the idea or maybe believe that somehow remembering our past lives would hinder our current lifetime. Like yeah, like my father said, if maybe in a past life, yeah, maybe in this lifetime my father is my father and I'm the son, but in the past life it was the other way around. So if we remember that thing, then somehow it would hinder this lifetime, what we do, the activities we do, we would hinder the situation in this lifetime. But and I heard that from other places as well. Like some people claim that if we remembered all our past lives, then it would just be too much for our brain to handle. So I mean, those kinds of like these kinds of things are like reasons why, like reasons for the memory wipe, right? Reasons that the memory wipe is a good thing. It helps us focus on this life without too much trouble from past life memories, and so these are like reasons saying that the memory wipe is a good thing. But then the question becomes, why I mean, over here we have reincarnation, at least perhaps around Earth, and I don't know the precise the precise boundary, the precise region, but we have a kind of reincarnation with the memory wipe. And Courtney Brown said there's also reincarnation without memory wipe. So maybe that's reincarnation elsewhere in most parts of the universe. And so the question becomes, why have a reincarnation at all, right? Perhaps so here we have reincarnation with memory wipe, and elsewhere most of the universe there's reincarnation without the memory wipe. And then is there somewhere beyond all of this that is the place, maybe it is the pleroma that Gnostics talks about, that where there's no reincarnation at all, so the soul just exists forever, and there's no mechanism, that there's no need to separate our life into pieces, like lifetimes. So here we, if reincarnation is true, here we have our lives separated into lifetimes, and then between each of the lifetimes we have a memory wipe, and then we have people that have reasons for the memory, like saying that the memory wipe is a good thing because it helps them focus on this life without being confused with all the other lifetimes. But then this is like something further down the maybe further down the road. Like maybe we should ask in the first place, why is our lives separated into segments in the first place, right? They have the reason. The memory wipe is a good thing because it helps you focus on just this lifetime, but it misses the it maybe we should be before, like before giving this reason why the memory wipe is a good thing, we should ask, why is our life, the spiritual infinite life, separated into segments to begin with, right? If it's not even separated into segments, we just live forever as a spirit or as a soul or as an isp or something. If we don't have these different segments of physical incarnations, then I mean, just with the reason my father said, like maybe in the past life it was the other way around, or like people have different relationships with each other, like son, mother, or father, or teacher, or anything, or pet. Like in each lifetime we have different relationships with different people, and then we might get confused if we remembered all that, right? That's my father's point. But why have different incarnations to begin with? That should be asked first, right? Before giving reasons like that, like the memory wipe is a good thing because it helps you focus on this life. Why have many lives to begin with? Why not just have one lifetime and it just exists forever, and there's no hassle of reincarnating each time and being memory wiped each time? At least at least around Earth, seems to be the case that there's this reincarnation cycle and we are being memory wiped each time. And then with the people in the other parts of the universe who reincarnates and does not get memory wiped, we can also ask the question, why is there a reincarnation cycle there as well, even though there's no memory wipe there? Perhaps the reincarnation cycle there is not that meaningful to begin with. So I mean, when Gnosticism, like one basic point in Gnosticism is, like we can hear this in many YouTube videos, or if you go read the Nag Hammadi scriptures, maybe it's also talked about there, but in more difficult language. Like the divine sparks get trapped in the material realm and keeps reincarnating here. And yeah, so we can ask the question, is the trap, like when Gnosticism says the divine sparks get trapped in the reincarnation cycle, are they only talking about the one on Earth, like with the memory wipe, or is the reincarnation that's happening, as Courtney Brown says, that's happening elsewhere in the universe where they don't get a memory wiped, is that also is that also part of, are they also in the trap? So what is the extent of the trap, the material realm trap that Gnosticism talks about? Is it just Earth? Is it Does it also include the reincarnation elsewhere in the universe that doesn't include the memory wipe? So there's these kinds of questions which we can explore, which we potentially can explore. And yeah, so maybe yeah, I'm talking about many things, but uh, so yeah, if anyone knows the answer to any of the questions I've mentioned, or if anyone has any comments or has anything to say relating to what I just presented, yeah, like maybe it's all over the place, not very organized, but I'll be grateful if you can put it in the comments section. So yeah, okay, yeah. Thank you, everyone for listening. Yes.